Reclaim your baggage.
Fuego Friday!
It's Fuego Friday!
We don't normally record on Fridays,
No.
but today is a special week. And if you're wondering why we're so hyped up on life, it's because it's Friday.
But it's not like a half Fuego Friday.
Why is that?
Because it's not payday.
Oh, so when it's a payday, it's full Fuego Friday.
Full Fuego. But right now it's like a very mild Fuego.
You know, people that get paid weekly, God bless you guys. It must be a good lifestyle when you have a paycheck every week.
Yeah,
I know people are like, oh, you know, but you got 2 weeks worth of pay. But nah, it's
No,
like,
because you're more responsible when you have a paycheck a week.
yeah, I feel like it would be easier to manage my money if I had money coming in every week and not having to wait for that 2 week period.
And you almost can't overspend because when that paycheck comes, it's gone.
Yeah.
Bye.
No.
I'm on a bare minimum
Yeah,
budget.
I fucked up my budgeting by then, and then I'm just screwed.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happening to this week and every week. It's like, I wish today was payday, but it's not. So I got to make sure I stack all my quarters. I go cash in at the Coinstar over at Ralph's.
Shout out Ralph's.
So I
You are a reliable source.
So I could get my cat food and maybe some cold cuts. You know, that's always the goal.
Not
it's like
cold cuts. What do you get? Let me take a guess. Salami.
Dude, I love salami. Yes, this is the 3 things I'll get.
All right.
Salami, turkey, and mozzarella cheese.
Okay.
And I get half a pound of salami, half a pound of turkey, full pound of mozzarella because you fucking go through that mozzarella like crazy.
Yeah, I enjoy the way you say mozzarella.
Mozzarella. And just like today, like I was walking to Ralph's. I took Bones, my puppy. We went, shout out to you, Bones, wherever you are, heaven or hell. Not sure where you went. No, I'm just kidding. He's sleeping right there. He didn't go anywhere. In jail. He's in his cell block. But yeah, anyways, was going to Ralph's today to get some cat food. I had dollar bills, so I didn't have to bring my bag of coins. And Bones was being such a little prick, though. Like, he's 8.5 months, and I'm not sure what's that in human years, dog years. But
we've looked it up like 6 times.
Yeah, he's like a fucking 5-6-year-old being a little prick. And he knows exactly what to do to like trigger me. We can easily walk places. He's able to walk, but sometimes he does not want to walk. You know, since he worked at the TSA, his nose is very good. So he must smell everything within that block. And sometimes it takes a long time. Like this walk to Ralph's could have taken 10 minutes. But it took an easy half hour because he had to smell everything.
He's a baby.
It doesn't matter. I got places to go. And I thought about, hey, let me involve my puppy. Let me be nice. Let me bring this dude over to Ralph's with me because we live in California and they love dogs here. So guess what? You're allowed to go to a supermarket. And he doesn't even get there. So I'm pulling him. I'm pulling him kind of hard because I'm like, please, I just gotta get to Ralph's. And this lady pulls over and she's just watching me like I'm abusing my child. And I always feel so bad trying to discipline him in the outdoors because it's so different. I feel like, you know, over here I can easily just break a bottle over his head and no one would know.
What the fuck?
I'm just kidding, but I'm just saying it's like it's different in the indoors versus the outdoors. I have to be very like aware of what I do because people will just watch. And that's what this lady was doing.
Maybe they
I feel
should
like
be watching.
No, it's not even that. Yo, Peter, chill. If you're thinking some type of way. It's just, I just wanted to get past this block. Sometimes he does this in the middle of an intersection. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? We could both die right now. So I'm pulling him. And this lady's just watching because she probably thinks like, oh, here we go. Another guy that you hear in the news that breaks bottle over his puppy's head. But no, it wasn't that at all. And I just feel like it's such a fine line, discipline and abuse. Because in a way, I feel like that's what she was thinking. But no, I just wanted to get places. And by the way, he's such a little prick that one time when we get to Ralph's, the door opens. He puts his ass down, his shitting position, and he takes a shit right where the door opens at Ralph's.
Can I tell you something though?
What?
He is literally you, like in dog form. That's why he gets on your nerves.
Maybe, but I wouldn't take a shit right at the entrance of the supermarket.
You wouldn't.
So this is me. The door is like opening and closing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding a puppy that wants to go in, obviously, because he knows once the door opens, he goes in. And I'm trying to pick up this poop. And it was just so, like, he always puts me in such strange situations.
Yeah.
But I just want to put it out there. If you guys ever see me trying to discipline my child, it's not abuse. It's discipline. It's what I learned, you know? I'm going by what I learned.
What did you learn? What
I don't know.
How are you this way?
What is this way, first of all?
Let me
You just
retake
say this way. So what does this
That's not what
way
I meant.
mean?
I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's Fuego Friday. Give me a
No,
break
it's
over
fine. I would just really like to know
No, I
what's your
meant, like,
definition of this way.
here. No, I mean, like, how did you form your opinion on what is discipline and what is abuse?
Well, I feel like abuse is such a big word, and I never really stepped in that territory, even growing up. If we go back to, like, how I was introduced to discipline, but some people might think as abuse. It's like I grew up in a third world country, you know, close to like around the favelas and stuff. And, you know, coming up, especially in Brazil, it was completely different. That when I got here to the United States when I was younger, I was like, this is heaven.
Yeah.
I didn't really understood what the poverty here was, because I would see, you know, the poor people in Harlem that everyone was so afraid of, and I just didn't understand. I was like, what, the projects? You guys got a dope building. It's like it's made out of concrete, and there's windows and doors and automated doors. And it was just completely different. And I don't want to go down that path because it's not what abuse or discipline was. But, you know, my grandma, she wasn't the type of lady that would fuck around.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as you can imagine, Bones taking a shit by Ralph's, that's what I would probably do or close to do. So if my grandma didn't take physical discipline upon me, I probably would have been so much worse and just not even been afraid of something. You know, always that discipline, that abuse kind of kept me on my toes, kept me afraid of things. And because of that, I believe I made better decisions.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, I just want the puppy to be a good citizen of this country. And I just want him to, you know, grow up to be a respectable fella. And
A fella.
And that's it. Like, or a lady, or whatever he chooses. He could be a day.
No, I just like, I don't know. I don't hear the term fella thrown
Well,
out
his
there
name is
very
Mr., so he would obviously be a fella. And it's different. So like when I hear stories, of course, that there's true stories of abuse. And that's why like I don't even categorize my upbringing with abuse. Because at the end of the day, I was a happy child. I had the ability to do whatever I wanted in the sense of be whoever I wanted to be. And I was just happy playing outside. It was completely different. There was no phone to be attached to.
You obviously have to discipline puppies, right? Like you have to teach them right from wrong. So I don't know, like I do think that there is a line in general between discipline and abuse. And like I was also raised tough, maybe not the same way you were raised or like the same experience, but you know, my family's very like keep you in fucking line. And my grandmother also was a tough woman, and you know, she would like spank us, beat us with a spoon, and or like, make us sit in the corner for however long. But it wasn't anything that was like wild. But I did experience abuse as a child, in my opinion, the way that my dad disciplined me. So, this is gonna get heavy.
No, I mean,
tonight.
see, this is the thing, though. I want you to dive into it because there's so much to talk about if you want to talk about abuse. It's like abuse by your parents, abuse in high school, middle school, in the outside world, in relationships. There's just so many ways to be abused that affects who you are today.
Exactly.
So I just go down that trajectory.
Yeah.
So how does your upbringing and the abuse that you've received by your parents, mom and dad?
Yeah, so I mean, I can get into it, but I just had to acknowledge that I was like, oh, like this is actually kind of heavy, and I am putting it out there in a very real way. So anyway, but no, I think that there's different types of abuse, yes, and I experienced different types of abuse. So my dad, I think something you learn as you get older is that your parents are just humans and they're fucked up, in their own ways. You just learn that over time. So I don't want to say that I sit and like have all this like blame and I'm like, oh my, like playing victim type of shit. I just think my dad had things he wasn't dealing with, and unfortunately when you don't check your baggage, you take it out on other people. So I just want to like put that out there because I still have a good relationship with my dad that's like completely different. So before I get into it, like that's where I'm at. Like it's not like I'm estranged from him, but he was an alcoholic, so it was a combination of like verbal abuse, I think emotional abuse. Like when he would get angry over nothing, like anything would trigger him, he would like scream in your face and get very like aggressive and like spank you, but that was like with a belt, and he's a fucking beast. My dad is like the country Tony Soprano. Like my dad is like a big dude and he is scary as fuck.
All right, so so you were afraid of him.
I was terrified of him from like the beginning.
So why did you that could have either shaped you up to not get dad mad? Why did you continue to get dad mad?
No, but that's the point you're missing. My dad was an alcoholic, so I understand.
Triggered?
Yeah. Like what you're saying, like later in life, I was a fucking shit person, So but still, the way he came about that, I still don't agree with. But that's for another time. But in that time that I'm speaking on, I was a child, and I'm saying like if I walked through the kitchen and he thought that I walked too loud, that type of shit, or if I didn't eat my food fast enough, or you know what I mean? But I'm like a kid, like I'm like a child, and I wasn't doing it. It wasn't like I was sitting there. Let me be clear. I'm not saying I was like dragging out and sitting in a chair for hours and not eating food. I'm saying if I didn't eat it in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
so,
I have memories like that too. Like my dad, he bounced when I was really young, and I have short memories of him locking me up in a closet in the dark. I probably did something wrong, but I couldn't have been more than like 4 years old.
Yeah.
It just got annoying. It was like Bones right now. He pissed me off. He gets locked in jail, It's that type of thing. But not really. It was completely. I don't remember what I could have possibly done for him to lock me in the closet. But that later on fucked me up because I couldn't go into elevators or anything enclosed. Because as soon as the door would close to the elevator, I'd start to freak. Like I would freak out and scream and cry. And I also have like memories of those panic attacks.
Oof. I'm sorry.
So I guess I used to be like very claustrophobic. But then
how did you get past it?
I just did. I just try to have like a strong kid mentality, especially coming to this country.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a huge thing. Going into school and seeing the amount of kids that were fucked up because their parents got divorced, that just like blew my mind. I was like, life gets so much worse. Are you kidding me? You
Yeah.
have 2 houses. You have 2 dope houses, one in New York, one in Connecticut. Like, what more could you want? You got like double the scooters, double the bikes, double the snacks, double the bed, like bedroom decor. You could go ham here, and you're complaining. And so many kids always got hung up on that. And, I guess my upbringing, I just always stayed strong.
Yeah, I
No
guess.
mom, no dad. I was like, I am my own mom, I'm my own dad. And I guess from an earlier age, I just tried to adapt the mentality that, I am an opportunity to do something different. And I just never really got stuck on my ways because of my parents. Because like you said, they were young, they were stupid. It's like if a baby just dropped on my lap right now, I'm sure my maternal instincts will kick in, and I'd be a great dad. Like, I wouldn't do any.
Your paternal
My
instincts.
paternal. Maybe I would try to maybe.
Or are you gonna carry the baby?
Oh, I was trying to breastfeed the baby. I'm trying to do everything.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to be like the mom and the dad.
I could see you breastfeeding.
Yeah, I would definitely try, give it a go, and then see that nothing happened. No, that's weird. I'm not going to put that. I put a lot of weird shit out there, but I would not try to breastfeed a baby. I know that nothing would happen.
Okay.
And
But,
like,
I don't know how we got to breastfeeding a baby.
No,
but
it's
back
just
to the abuse.
Back to the abuse. And to me, it was never really abuse because I was doing the worst. Like,
Wait, I have so many things before you go too far that I
Yeah.
want to go back to.
yeah, do it up.
Okay, because I think that your perspective and your life experience, like I cannot imagine, like
Yeah.
I have something completely different. But what I will say specifically when it relates to mental health, because what I agree with you on is like what your parents, like experiences you go through in your childhood do follow you later in life, right?
Yeah.
Like they shape you, they can lead to mental health issues, whatever. So when someone has mental health issues related to an experience they had, I don't think that it's right to compare because they're living it. So if I'm just saying
I don't compare it though.
but like if the divorce is impacting, like if they're a kid and their parents are getting divorced and it's impacting them emotionally,
No. This is where you're getting it wrong, though. It was never about comparing. It's about fueling me to be above. It's about seeing what people go through and seeing what I've went through and how well I'm doing and just keep that mentality strong and get past the fact that the parents got divorced.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it. I know how love works by now. I know how things don't work out. So you know what? I commend parents that do go through divorce and they put themselves, because it must be hard if you have a child in play. You have to think about that life. And there's so many parents out there. I bet there's so many people that are still together for their kids. And they're going to be together for their kids, for their sake of the family, to make sure that that kid grows up to be a respectable human like Bones. You know what I'm saying? It's like, once you realize that, I feel like it's much easier, rather than my father and my mom are no longer in love, they're splitting up. Is it my fault? What did I do? No, it has nothing to do with you.
No, absolutely.
So if anything, no, I never compared. It just fueled me to feel the way that I do, to be okay with the things that has been done with me.
I definitely think that childhood experiences shape you and how you are as a person, the way you are in relationships. So for me, I definitely think that like when you were saying about your panic attacks related to like elevators from that.
Yeah.
I'm like super triggered by, so I wouldn't say I'm a confrontational person, but I am super direct, right? So I'm not triggered by confrontation, but I'm triggered by loud confrontation, like yelling, like chaos, like that. I just can't explain it in any other word. But when there's like an argument that just feels chaotic, and you know what I'm talking about.
What happens though? You go to a certain place in the past?
Yes, I absolutely do. Like I do have PTSD. I don't even care about like putting that out there. And at first, like I was like, how the fuck do you have PTSD? Like I was very ignorant, and I thought like that was only for people who went through like real trauma, like shit I can't even imagine. But no, it really is like your brain just like goes back, and it's like it becomes so overwhelming because I just go back to a time where it was really bad. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So those experiences when I was a kid, still to this day, I'm trying to work through it, but like I can get triggered like that, and it takes me to a really dark place because the shit that I went through fucked me up.
Damn.
Heavily.
See, yeah, it's crazy. Like grandma used to beat us with chairs. Like if you guys know, like there's a cable that goes in the brakes of our bikes, so we always used to like have bike parts. She used to grab those cables and beat the fuck out of us. Sticks, pipes, anything that was in reach. Like, oh, grandma didn't fuck around. But at the same time, I don't know, like I remember this. So there's a lot of kites in Brazil, and it's not like the type of kites that you see here. We can definitely go into that in another episode about culture. Yeah, that's what the next episode will be. Culture? It's gonna be about culture.
Okay.
Even though we might cover a lot in this episode, but you know, kites, they're different. And I remember I used to climb everywhere. I'm still a monkey. I climb all over the place, and I'm just climbing after this kite that's like someone cut the string, so that thing is going, and I'm going through this roof. I was not watching where I was stepping, and next thing you know, I fall through the roof, and I'm in this lady's living room.
This sounds like a movie. This sounds like Aladdin.
But it's not even like you go through a fucking American roof that's like...
No, I know.
It's like a shitty, just corrugated. It was probably like a corrugated panel that I just went through. And it was this lady that in the neighborhood, everyone knew that she was such a bitch. And as soon as it happened, I was like, ugh. So I fall down, plop down, and I don't even have time to really comprehend what is happening. I feel her grabbing me by the ear and twisting it.
Oh my God.
And I still have like this pain. So again, I guess I was getting abused by the whole neighborhood, because it wasn't really like abuse. It was like it took a village to raise these little fucking assholes. So she grabs me by the ear. I still feel the pain. And she brings me all the way to my grandma's house. And grandma had to pay for her roof. And I got a huge ass whooping.
Yeah.
And I used to get my ass beat for everything pretty much, because I don't know, if you go back to Brazil and see the amount of people that really fall into bad hands and start doing things, I feel like I would have been that person. Like, I'm very smart, but I probably would have been, I don't know, laundering money, doing something wild, and went a complete different way. But my grandma was like, oh, hell no. I'm not going to let you go there. And I'm going to beat the devil out of you.
Not the devil.
Oh, she definitely beat the devil out of me, though. And
Are
at
you
the
sure that it's
no,
actually
it's still
gone?
in there.
It's still
Just
there.
kidding.
Come on now. She should get a refund on that exorcism.
No, but see, this is what you got to understand about grandma. Like you say, your dad is the soprano of Florida.
Nah, you always fuck up where I live.
I don't know. I feel like you're very just white trash somewhere.
Fuck you.
Hey.
Okay, no, I'll claim the white trash. Whatever.
Hey,
but yeah,
she's just
Eastern Shore of Maryland. Shore. Yeah,
if you don't know where that is, good. Don't go there.
Fuck, you're coming in real hot.
Hey, why are you getting so offended? Does it trigger you?
No,
Goes back
actually,
to abuse
I don't give a fuck. Shut the fuck up. Keep going.
So grandma was a G, though.
Oh,
and she's still a G. And I have so many random stories that grandma was abusing other people, if you think about it. Like, I remember a bunch of kids showed up to beat my cousin. He was in high school. So my grandma goes out there with a lead pipe and she's just swinging at these kids like a crazy lady. If there was like TikTok, like back then, that would have definitely went viral. She's just swinging. She's like, no one's gonna get to my grandson. Following that note, I used to get in a lot of like fist fights, even with my friends. Like we would just argue about something.
There's a lot of violence in your past.
Oh, there's just the shit. That's why I guess I'm so desensitized to abuse, because it was just a day-to-day thing.
Yeah, you're just like, violence is just like normal to you.
So maybe I shouldn't even tell this next story.
No, go for it. What happened with the lead pipe?
Okay, so the lead pipe. All right, the lead pipe. So I lived in a 3-story house. It wasn't finished. First floor was finished. Second and third, it was always under construction as long as I could remember. Like, that shit never got finished. So I'm outside and this bigger kid is beating me up. He's definitely like probably doing something, and my grandma sees that from the 3rd floor. I don't know what grandma was doing on the 3rd floor late at night. Maybe smoking a doobie. Now that I'm thinking, like, what the fuck was she doing out there? I don't know. Very like, hey Arnold, grandma type of thing.
Get out of my head.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything you've been saying, even you falling through the roof.
She was just wild.
Yes.
And then this kid is beating me up, so she throws me a 2x4, and then he falls. And then she's like, hit him! Hit him! And then I grab it, and then I fucking hit him. Damn. One good hit, and it breaks one of his knees. The kid just falls down, starts crying.
This is wild.
And I'm just like, oh my God, what have I done? And then my grandma's just like, come in here. And then I go in there, and then she dealt with it. So it was very, I don't know how to say it. Like, I was a product of my environment to the T, that I knew these things happened, and I just rolled with the punches. Literally. Yeah, there's so much abuse that people would call it abuse, but I just call thick skin. Oof. Because now I have a thick ass foreskin. Shout out. Circumcised.
Call the surgeon.
Woo! Damn, that was great. What a callback. What a callback. You have that. I knew it was good because I was looking at the camera and I saw Help Desk's face going. I was like, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that long foreskin.
Okay, so.
But yeah, I think that for me, like, when you're raised in an environment of like chaos, that also kind of like impacts you later in life of what you think is normal. So it's interesting that you think like you're a little desensitized to violence, it seems like, because you're like, oh well, like when does it cross the line to you that it would be abuse? And I think for me, the way that comes up is like, I have found myself in various situations that were abusive and I stayed in them, or like normalized it until it got out of control because I thought that's what love looked like. So that shit still follows me. So shout out going to therapy and owning your baggage.
All right. Well, I mean, as long as you're able to find a way to deal with it and move past it, I feel like that's all that matters, because, you know, that's the thing. Life is rough. You start, you know, dad jizzes you out of his balls into mom's fucking yada yada health class. I missed that day. I'm not sure how it happens. But anyways, you're put into this world. Your parents are the first one to damage. You know, like, kids are very pure and great.
Yeah.
Even when it goes back to racism and so many things. But now, the next set of things, after your parents are done damaging you, they will send you to school.
Yeah.
Which is the next place where you will get hella abused.
No, it's very true.
And then you got to deal with kids and the abuse that comes with kids in school.
Yeah.
Because now you're dealing with kids that were raised by other damaged parents, like your parents. So it's just this community of damaged people going to school together, trying to learn 2 + 2.
Yes.
And, you know, going back to Brazil, I don't have any memories of being bullied or abused in any way. If anything, everything was very wholesome. Everyone was brown enough to be within each other, and it wasn't a thing. And then coming here, again, I don't know if I was very comfortable with myself, and I was always the Eminem out of the group. I always just dropped the mic before anyone else could about me. I would go in, say everything that I could, so there was no way to bully me. So in a way, I've learned not how to be bullied because I was, but my environment, but now I became the bully.
Oh, damn.
And I'm like this tiny little scrawny dude. And it's not like I'm out there bullying people because I wasn't the cool kids to bully people. But I was just the ones that I wasn't at the bottom, so I mistreated people at the bottom.
Yeah.
So, again, I didn't get abused, but I feel like, to be honest, I abused.
Do you have, like, any examples?
I have lots of examples, but I would like to first know what's your experience to gauge what my examples can be. I don't want to, trigger anything.
No, you're not going to trigger anything.
So what's your experience with bullying in school? Like, did the way that your parents brought you up affect how you interacted with other fucked up kids?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first of all, I went to private school, and it's like a very cliquey environment. I fucking hated that school. Like, hate it. I don't even want to acknowledge my time there because it was so fucked up. But
was it cliquey because it was small town, or was it?
Yeah, so there was like 40 kids in a graduating class.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Like, it's a tiny school, so like growing up even before high school, like I'm talking, this shit started young. It was like very cliquey, and for some reason, like certain classes would be less mean than others, but everyone will say
what was the meanest class?
My class. Like, everyone will say this. My parents, like, stand by it. Like, the people in my class were just nasty motherfuckers. We were all fucked up. So, from a young age, like, I was in, like, the cool clique. But my position in that clique was that I was, like, the funny one. But funny meaning that I would, like, bully other people and, like, get everybody to laugh. But meaning my friends, were so vicious to me and vile, and also the popular guy clique because it was like 2 in 1.
Your friends were terrible to you.
Yes.
So then you were terrible to other kids.
Yeah, they would like egg it on. Yeah. I bullied other people, or I don't even know if it was bullying more
were
so
you
than
getting,
it was just like.
Were you getting bullied though?
Yeah.
In what way?
I mean, it was a lot of like verbal abuse and just like constantly like putting you down. Like the people that are supposed to be
like personality or looks?
More so looks. So it would always be like, oh, like you're fat, even though like their comparison to fat, I think that also shaped like a lot of like my body image issues, is like what they were comparing fat to was like not.
Was this coming from boys or girls?
Mainly the girls. The fat thing was coming from the girls, like my best friends, and they'd be like, you're too fat to wear that.
And what was the whole thing? You're too fat to wear that because you're all trying to get boys, or it was
it was very competitive at like a young age, and like they were all like the pretty ones and I was the ugly one, and that's just like how it rolled. And it was just like a pecking order, and like everyone was just like really mean from like a really young age. So I felt like I didn't fit at school. Like I had a place, but it was like out of survival almost at a certain point. It's like, what am I going to do? Like these are the people that I like grew up with, and it was a very small environment.
So that was your clique. And basically Mean Girls, if you guys have seen Mean Girls out there.
Exactly. We were Mean Girls before
that's
that
what
movie.
I picture. And, in every pack, no matter what, even the bullies, there is a system to it. So you're saying in the bullies pack, you're at the bottom?
Yeah. But no, like for real, it just sucked because like what? Yeah, like whatever. Like because like at the end of the day, I feel like I was always just a very unique person compared to where I came from, and I don't know why. I just feel like
Did it make you feel good though? Like,
No.
walk us through how it made you feel, because obviously you got treated a certain way at home,
Yeah.
and you knew what getting put down was, but now you're putting down other people. How did that make you feel? Did you realize, or were you like, oh, fuck it, my friends like me, so I don't care how this person feels?
No, that's like not the case at all. It was like I was in a position when this started to happen, it just became this feeling of like, okay, I don't fit at home. I never felt comfortable in my own skin. I never felt comfortable being myself. I felt like I was a problem. I felt like afraid. It was not a good experience. So then I go to school, and then the people that I'm supposed to have that are like, you're a fucking kid. These are like that's your world. Those are your people. They start turning on you, and the only value that you add to them to keep, because I didn't want to be fucking a band. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to be like, I wanted to belong somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's like out of survival, you do these things because that's the value you add. And I've always been like, I mean, I don't know, you probably don't think I'm funny, so I hate saying this, but I've always been like
She's not funny.
I've always been like a funnier person, like a lighter side of life type of person, but they would like use that to like a different advantage and like have me do outrageous things because I was willing to do outrageous things that would like embarrass other people.
Okay, so you wanted me to give you an example.
Yeah.
And before I give you an example, give me an example so I can head into my example. What are some mean...
Goddamn, do you really want me to tell you?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're here. We're digging in the bottom of our carry-ons, luggage, the shit that's deep in the plane. I don't even know where this goes, but really, what is a story that you're remorseful for, that you're willing to share with us? I don't want to put you on the spot, but something you're willing to share and that you're ready to let go of and be apologize and be at peace with it.
There's like a couple examples, but
we just need one, something to set you free, to let all of us go of this abuse, this pain that we've all been through.
Okay, well, this is so fucked up. I really have never talked about this. But there was this girl in class, and she was just like made fun of so much for her looks, and she had bad hygiene, like her whole family did. And now looking back on it, I feel fucking awful even acknowledging this, but like, so she smelled, and it was like a lot. And because we would have gym class, so God, this is fucked up, Raph. Like, I don't think I can do this, but whatever.
All right, see, if you can't do this, let me start off. There was this Indian girl in class. She also smelled really bad, and after gym, we would have like Axe and shit. So during class, we would spray under her armpits without her knowing, and everyone would laugh. So that's pretty fucking terrible.
Well,
so go ahead.
Okay, well, we had Secret Santa, and I gave her this like big gift basket of like deodorant and sprays, and everyone laughed.
So you did just for the laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's shitty. You should have, I guess, approached her being like, I can see
Yeah.
you giving it to her and be like, yo, girl, like,
Yeah,
listen,
and that's
I don't
what-
know what you're going through, but like, here you go.
Yeah.
And that's how things process now. But I understand if I saw that in person, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe she's going to do it. I can't believe she's going to do it. Ah, she did it. She
I know.
gave it
So
to
like
her.
I did shit like that to like stay in the clique. But then it like as I got older in high school, like shit kind of went down, and then I left that situation.
So the clique that you thought they were your friends, what was the pinnacle point that you were like, these aren't my friends?
I mean, a lot of
Because
fucked up
those,
shit happened.
I
I'll
mean,
give you the cliff notes.
I
I'll give
mean,
you the
those
cliff
are
notes.
your abusers at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'll
though.
give you like the cliff notes because like I don't know that I'm ready to like fully get into that, but I had like I started like I've said that I'm sober, all that shit. So like my using and drinking started at a really young age. And so we partied really hard, but I was like out of control. So by the time I was had turned 16, like I got suspended from school because there was like a rumor that I was doing pills, and like my life was like spinning out of control, right? But my friends were also like perpetuating a lot of it. I felt like I had an eating disorder, and like it was kind of encouraged, and also they always called me fat, right? So like,
how many people are these?
it was 7 of us.
So 6 other girls?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, like I ended up getting alcohol poisoning, almost dying, and through that, like they found out I really was fucked up with my eating disorder. Like my shit was bad. So I ended up going away. My parents put me in a hospital for 2 months, and my friends at that point, like it had been leading up to this, but no one contacted me. And I'm telling you, I was friends with these people since I was literally 4 years old. And I was away for 2 months, and nobody asked about me, contacted me, nothing.
How has that affected you today?
No, actually, I don't give a fuck about that, because I'm grateful for that, because after that, that was what it took for me to be like, you know what? So I went back to school, like after 2 months, I went back to that school for like a week, and like nobody would talk to me. This was before like going to rehab was cool or being fucked up was cool.
Hey,
like,
shout out rehab.
This was at a time when like they didn't want that type of shit exposed, because other people also had issues. So it just like kind of was like, oh, leave her out, like she's a fucking weirdo, blah blah blah. So I was like, fuck it, I'm not going back to this school. Like I just spent time as a 16-year-old in a mixed ward of adults and children, 2 months. Like that I saw a lot of fucked up shit there. So like I was a different person, and I was like, no. And my parents were like it was at that point too that my parents had no control over me at all, because after that I was like,
You're
fuck
just
everybody.
spinning out of control.
Yeah, I was like, fuck everybody. I'm gonna do what I want. But I needed that to happen to make me be like, all right, and like move on to the next phase.
I feel like your life is heavily dictated by your friends around middle school and high school, because you're trying to fit in. So just imagine being in a pack. I feel like a lone wolf at all times, and I can't even imagine being in a pack and not being friends with the leader.
Yeah,
like how does
we
that
were like
feel?
frenemies,
huh?
Like the girl that was like that I would consider like the leader was like my longest term friend, like the person I'd known the longest, like the person that was like my first friend, and she was the meanest.
Yeah.
And she was the leader.
It's a pack.
Yeah.
You're in a pack system,
Yeah.
and you either eat or you be eaten.
Exactly. That's why I did the things I did.
Exactly. And then, ladies and gentlemen, ta-da-da-da, we finally graduate from that shitty pack that we call middle school, high school, elementary school. If you got abused in elementary school, that sucks. Those are some shitty children.
I did.
So it goes back to around that time, though, that all those kids that were in school with you,
Yeah.
their parents were around with your parents.
Yeah.
So that only shows what we're dealing with here.
No, exactly. Receipts.
Yeah, it just...
That's a big receipt.
It goes back.
Yes.
But then you take all that beating and you think you know everything. You know, college. No, we're not even going into college here because I can't dig in. We're not going into college. We're not going into college here because I can't dig into that. But growing into your grown-up years, I would say maybe 25 to 35. I haven't reached 35 yet.
Me either.
I'm just putting it as a gap, everybody. So that 10-year span is really where you're going to show your abuse throughout your parents, throughout school, and it will really dictate how you will treat everyone for the rest of your life. Because I believe in this point of your life, you either learned your lessons, you adapted, and you treat people better by the end of the spectrum, which is 35, or you didn't, and you're just going to be that old dog that can't learn new tricks, and you're like 60 stuck on your old ways, and you're fucked.
Yeah.
So where in the end of the spectrum are you? Like, did you experience anything between that time that has affected how you are now? Was there more abuse after school?
Yeah. I mean, does it surprise you?
Yeah, no, I knew that was coming. I knew as soon as I asked there was going to be more abuse.
Definitely agree with you. I have unchecked baggage, but I do go to therapy weekly. And I think for me, on like a real serious note, like I went through a lot of fucked up shit and it fucked me up. And maybe in other people's eyes, it's not that heavy baggage. It's like something I should just suck it up, be tougher. But the way my brain, the way I was born, the way I feel about life, the way I view things is just like, that's just who I am as a person. And so these things really impacted me in big ways. So my whole life I've been overcoming. So even now in my advanced age, I'm still trying to overcome things, but I'm never just going to allow myself to just be like, oh, this is just who I am. I want to stay this way forever. I wouldn't spend my money and waste my time in therapy and like self-reflection if I didn't want to move past it. But unfortunately, the shit that you go through and during a time when you're like kind of forming yourself, you're finding yourself, maybe not fully, because I know that that comes later in life, but like there is a time of like self-discovery for a lot of people, and I didn't have that at that age because I was just like so fucked up and there was just a lot of chaos in my life. So in my relationships, I definitely have gravitated towards specific types of people and energy that unfortunately are similar to like the relationship dynamics I saw with my parents and how my parents showed love. Like, for example, I know I shared this before, but like my parents like never said I love you really until like a few years ago. So like I tend to get into these relationship dynamics where I'm like, and I don't even care to throw myself out there like this because I don't really care at all what people think. But like subconsciously or even consciously, I've just like always wanted to be chosen, like to be enough, to be accepted, to be loved.
The chosen one.
And I like unfortunately find myself gravitating towards people who take advantage of that and like prey on it. So yes, I've been in abusive relationships. When I was like still drinking, I got into a relationship with this guy in Florida, and like this is like the weirdest relationship because I look back, I was like, what the fuck was I doing? But I was just so drunk.
You were in a relationship in Florida. That's what you were doing.
Yeah. But anyway, he worked at Disney World. That's how we met because I worked at Disney World and he was like obsessed with Disney. He's fucking weird. This guy's weird as fuck.
What part of the park did you guys work at?
Space Mountain.
You work in the ride? You operated a ride?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. So I was there for like a college program and then I met this guy and like I moved down there because I'm like a hopeless romantic. But at the same time, like he was like, what was I fucking doing? But anyway, as the relationship went on, he would like beat me. Like I would be drunk and he would like beat me. And I know like, okay, whatever. I'm sure people would be like, you deserved it. You're drunk. But like, no. Like one time he like, I got home and I was in his car and I was drunk and he was like yelling at me and I didn't want to get out. And he came over, opened the passenger door and drug me across the parking lot into the apartment. And then another time he broke the sliding glass door because he got so mad.
What were you guys fighting about though? I need some like...
To be honest with you, like this sounds fucked up, but like I don't remember because I was so fucked up during that time.
So you were drunk, he was drunk.
Yeah.
And you guys are just... And he was abusing...
Yeah.
Definitely his power.
Yeah. But like he was like a little dude too. I could have taken him, but his rage was like some next level scary ass shit.
How long did that last?
A while because I guess like him being abusive like that, it probably went on for a year or so. But like one time he threw this thing through, we lived on the first floor and we had like a sliding glass door. He threw this thing and broke the sliding glass door and I was like drunk and I was like, oh my God. And I like went over towards it because I was just like, what are you doing? And he pushed me in the glass.
And what made you think that was love and comfort?
Because I think in the beginning when the rage started, because that, what I'm telling you, those were towards the end when I knew it was like fucked. But when it started, I think I stayed because it scared me. It triggered something in me, but that's also what I knew to be love. So it was like always this weird feeling where I like had a gut reaction. I talked about that too. Like I knew there were red flags. I knew this was like not right or not love on some level, but I just wanted it so bad. And like those types of people, they're in it with you because they want power and control over you. So it wasn't like he was trying to get rid of me. You know what I mean? Like he liked that kind of dynamic. So it just was like I didn't want to leave because I was like scared of being alone. And then this person's like, yeah, stay around because you're my fucking punching bag.
So I'm assuming you eventually left.
Yeah, he actually held a knife to me and cut the phone line. We had like a land. Well, first of all, he took my cell phone.
He cut the landline.
He cut the landline because he took my cell phone. He cut the landline. He had a knife, and he was just like hysterical. Like I wasn't even drunk that night. Like he came home and he was just in a way. And it had gotten so bad. My dad had actually offered to get me a hotel. Because it was getting, they knew I was going to leave. Like they knew, everybody knew, my job knew I had bruises. It was bad. So anyway, he held a knife and I was like, nope. And I like got all my shit and my cat and I fucking left in the middle of the night. And you know what? He definitely would call my house. Like when I went home to Maryland, he would call my parents' house drunk and like all this crazy shit. And then one night, the last time I ever heard from him, he told me that I was right. He had a problem and he had attacked his coworkers and he was currently suspended. And that's the last time I ever heard of him.
Damn, that's definitely a Disney story right there. Okay,
yeah.
so
Yep.
That was your first, I guess, abuse in a relationship?
Yeah, my first real relationship in high school, he was just a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's just like, okay, so was that your last, though? Did you finally... Okay.
No. So, then I had a relationship with Ginge, and that was not abusive. That just was a relationship.
Do I gotta blip out
out
Ginge?
No, I don't have anything bad to say about Ginger, so...
Okay. That's just a color, by the way. If you go into crayons, there's like, it says red, ginger...
Good try. So anyway, I had like a period of time where I had a relationship that wasn't abusive, but we just like outgrew each other. So I still carried though a lot of damage in that relationship. And like shout out Ginge because I was going through a lot of shit. And like even though we had our differences, like you were my best friend and I was in a dark place and I appreciate you. But I think like on the other side of that relationship, I grew through a lot of things, but I didn't work through everything. And when I got out of that relationship with him, I was just like really lost. And a lot of my past shit was coming up because I was alone and I'd been in that relationship for 7 years. And like at a certain point, there was just like a comfort of having this other person with you that like, I don't know, there was just something.
Just the company.
Yeah. So then when I was like on my own again, I just felt like I couldn't be alone. Like it gave me a lot of anxiety to be alone. So when I got on like dating apps, I like ended up meeting this person, and I'm going to be very careful about how I talk about this because it is still something that's there. But I met this person and they are a very damaged person. And
shout out to their parents.
Took advantage of where I was at in life, and there were really big red flags in the beginning. There's a lot of chaotic energy in the beginning. Actually, the way we got into a relationship was him screaming at me and just going nuts, and I was like, oh my God, like, okay, like because I had said I wasn't ready to be in a relationship, and then that's how we got in a relationship. So like just to kind of set it off. But like through that time, like I had moved to a city where I didn't have a support system, and he was that for me, he was a lot of chaos, and I was used to that chaos. He had a drinking problem, so you can see I like date my father. And I just was always there, like cleaning up his messes, having his back, like keeping him together. And like there was just a lot of fucked up shit like that slowly evolved over time. He had a past history of abuse with his ex, physical abuse. Like at the time, because I've grown so much since then. But at the time when I was in it, I knew, obviously, I had these big red flags, and it made me scared. But at the same time, I just felt like obligation to this person, because it's like, and maybe I'm just kind of having this realization now, but like, for example, I have a relationship with my father, and my father and I had a really tumultuous relationship. Really bad.
Ooh, wait. I would like to spell that one. Tumultuous.
Tumultuous.
Oh, that's even harder.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, you obviously know. You
I'm going to
obviously
come in
know.
hot. No, here we go.
TEMOUS.
I don't even know what that attempt was. I'm sorry, but that was
No, that was
terrible.
hard. Wait, I don't even know.
Tumultuous. Okay.
Oh.
TOMULCHIOUS.
How do you spell it?
TU
Oh, we both are.
Ooh.
MULTUOUS.
Okay, we were both
All right,
way off.
great attempt though.
That
you
was
at least
horrible.
you at least used the word. We yet haven't
Do you
gotten.
need me to define it?
No, I mean I'm just saying we yet haven't gotten a spelling of any word, which is great. I love it.
Yeah, I
can't
love
spell.
it.
But
it's not my
anyways,
strength. Oh yeah, so in that relationship though, because he was my father, like I felt this obligation, because the way we were raised, I always say my family's like the vegetable mafia. It's like family is number one. Like my family, it is like,
shout out to Corn.
You don't turn your back on family, and like thick as thieves. So like I always also felt this like guilt for like how my relationship was with my parents, even though I think I've acknowledged my part and I'll never get that from them. So I just had to like move past it. And then in a relationship setting, for some reason, I felt that loyalty to this person to be like staying in this, and that I like deserved it on some level. That's the part that I've had to really work through, is that I really, and that can sound as crazy as you want it
Was
to,
he
but
like? What was it about it? Was he so good looking? His
No, but
dick
that-
game
you're
was
missing-
on point.
I mean, yes, I was.
No,
I
I mean like I'm just saying like what was so great. You can't have loyalty to a piece of poo.
Okay, because
unless
that's,
you could.
Okay, but let me kind of like tell you then. So the way that this happened, it wasn't like things like would happen, but they would be spread out. So there would be like a chaotic moment, but when he wasn't being chaotic, what he did was love bomb. So love bombing is when you present yourself as though you feel the other person is everything you've ever wished for, and you like put them on this pedestal. And it is almost, now looking back, it's like funny because it's so comical how over the top this shit is. But I like fell into that because he knew to do that, because I'm an open book, and unfortunately I expressed too much too early on. And Ginger, God love him, like,
we love you, Ginger.
Like, just that's not who he is. So Ginger and my relationship with him, he's very much like, I felt like I was like a doll on a shelf. Like I didn't get that kind of like love from him. It wasn't that dynamic. So when this person is suddenly like all about me and singing my praises and making me feel like I'm shitting
because
gold,
he knew exactly what button to press.
Yes. So then over time, he had me like pulled in because he was like presenting himself to be this person. But everything that he said was like a lie or like a twist. So like once I was living in the same city, because we met and I wasn't living there. So once I was living there and he kind of immediately moved in with me, little things started breaking down over time. But then what they call it is trauma bonding. So you'll go through this chaotic experience. And this shit was chaotic. Like when these things would happen, it was like being in a fucking horror movie.
So through chaos, you will find some sort of connection.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing, but you can look it up. It's like a real thing, and it's how.
No, I believe you. You
relationships-
spend enough money in therapy,
Yeah,
so I believe anything you say.
Yeah, all this shit is like out there on the internet. You can look it up, but but you become like it's how people you've heard of Stockholm syndrome. It's like how abusers, you hear about these people that have been kidnapped and you're like, why at some point did they not just walk away once they're older, when they're like adults? It's because you feel this weird connection to this person that's abusing you. So anyway, the shit went on for like a while, but the real dark stuff honestly didn't happen until I finally
after the breakup.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, like, that situation taught me a lot about abuse and why I gravitated towards those situations, because the end of that broke me in such a way that I lost myself entirely as a person. I wanted to die. I was in one of the darkest places I've ever been in my whole life, including when I was a drug addict. So shit really fucked me up. But because of that, I was like, I will no longer allow this to continue in my life. Like, I'm going to break the cycle. So I really focused on like dealing with the shit that leads me to fall into these cycles or like be susceptible to people like that. I'm definitely not ever going back. I'm just going up. So it's just like, I don't know. It's a process.
It's always a process. I feel like abuse always end when someone gives up.
Yeah.
It's either you or the other person that's abusing you. And you either had enough and you say this is fucked up and not okay, or the person that's toying with you, playing around with your feelings, feels some type of way or feels complete in their sicko way, and they're able to just drop you and set you free.
Yeah.
And people are fucked up and they will say what they have to say in order to keep you wrapped around your finger. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it might be abuse involved in that wraparound. I'm always blessed to be in the position that I'm at. Everyone is going through terrible struggles in their own minds. So who am I to further abuse their existence in this planet? So I try to keep it to myself. That's why I am who I am. This dude with a lot of pets that just tries to exist without a problem. And that is my final note on this take of abuse. It has been a lot. I've been abused. I've abused. And I hope that you all out there, if you've been on either end of the spectrum, you can grow and I guess just not be part of the abusing problem at the end of the day, because hurt people will hurt people. So it's a matter of breaking the cycle, breaking the path.
I don't really have anything else to say. Take care of your mental health and just try to do better. That's it.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Try to do better.
Please claim your baggage.